If this is your first time checking out my channel, I want to encourage you to check out my extensive coverage on the Stephen Kosher case, as well as my coverage on the Terry Missy Beavers case. Chronological playlists for both of those cases are available under my playlist tab. Over 4 weeks ago, I put out a request to my viewers to give me some suggestions for a new case to research and analyze. I received numerous suggestions, and I want to say thank you to everyone who commented, and I want to encourage viewers to keep the suggestions coming. I have reviewed and researched all the case suggestions that have been sent to me. During the research process, one of the case suggestions, which I will not reveal at this time, I was able to assist the police by extracting some photos of the killer's face from surveillance footage that was released on YouTube. This was a case similar to the Terry Beavers case, as the gender of the killer had not been determined and no image of the killer's face had ever been revealed to the public. I am hopeful that in the coming months we will be hearing about an arrest on that case, and I will be releasing a video on that case once I have received the go-ahead from the police. After spending the last 4 weeks going over the suggestions, I've decided my next detailed analysis video will be on the Elijah Woods RaceTrac murder case. This was an excellent suggestion, and for some reason the viewer who posted the suggestion deleted their comment, so I'm unable to give them the recognition they deserve. Whoever you are, thank you. This case is perfect because Elijah's case is relatively unknown, there is little content out there right now, and there is a decent amount of surveillance footage for me to analyze. So let's get into this detailed analysis of the Elijah Wood RaceTrac murder case. I want my viewers to know that prior to uploading this video, I submitted most of this information to the Oconee County Sheriff's Department. On March 19, 2021, at around 1 a.m., a car was seen on surveillance camera driving south on Interstate 441 in Watkinsville, Georgia, which is a city east of Atlanta and just south of Athens. The car made a right turn onto Hog Mountain Road, where another surveillance camera picked up the vehicle as it traveled briefly on Hog Mountain Road, then turned right onto a side road, and then made another quick right, pulling in behind some bushes and trees. Moments later, a person dressed in all black, wearing a windbreaker hoodie, mask, gloves, and carrying a handgun, walked into the RaceTrac gas station located at 7921 Macon Highway, just across the street from where the car was parked on the side road. The person approached the counter, spoke with the graveyard shift clerk Elijah Wood briefly, before fatally shooting Elijah and fleeing the scene. At around 1:40 a.m., a customer found Elijah laying behind the counter and called the police. The Oconee County Sheriff's Department are asking for the public's help in tracking down Elijah's murderer and his accomplices. A $25,000 reward has been offered for information leading to the arrest of the suspects. While it is good that the Oconee County Sheriff's Department have released some of the surveillance footage, it is unfortunate that the footage they have released is so limited, and it has been edited and altered in ways that is counterproductive to giving citizens a fair shot at helping to solve this case. The surveillance footage Oconee Sheriffs released to the media was sped up considerably, giving viewers the illusion that the killer walked in, shot Elijah immediately, and fled. Here is the original footage that was released. The accelerated surveillance footage does not give the public a realistic look at the gait and mannerisms of the killer. Additionally, Oconee County Sheriffs have not released the footage that shows the killer as they walk in the front door. There is a surveillance camera that faces the front door, but instead of releasing video from this camera angle, law enforcement only released these two photos of the killer as they are walking in the front door from that camera angle. What's more bizarre is that these images have also been altered. Someone at the sheriff's department, or possibly the media, reversed these photos, making it appear as though the killer entered the store and turned right, which they didn't. They turned left. Here is a photo of the front doors of the RaceTrac store from the outside. Notice the larger window sticker is on the left door and the smaller window sticker is on the right door as you enter the store. Also notice that the newspaper rack is just inside to the left as you enter the store. In the photos released by law enforcement, you will see that both the large sticker and the news rack are on the right as you enter the store. I have flipped the images and will use the corrected photos going forward. Additionally, Notice in these two photos that the killer is walking in different doors. This leads me to believe that the killer returned to the store after leaving the first time, and the additional surveillance footage of the killer entering the second time has never been released. Law enforcement also released this double photo of the killer's face close up as they are walking in the main entrance, which, once again, has been poorly modified. Not only have they reversed the photos, but also compare the skin tone of the killer in the first released photo to these close-up photos. Notice how light they have made the killer's skin appear to be in these close-up photos. There are also dark outlines around the killer's eyes, making it appear as though the killer was wearing eyeliner and makeup. This has led some people to believe the killer might be a female, which they are not. Law enforcement also did not release the surveillance footage from behind the counter, which might help us determine the motive of this crime. Law enforcement are claiming that this is probably a robbery gone wrong, but unless we can see the footage of the exchange between Elijah and his killer, up to the point where Elijah was shot, of course, I don't think we can assume this is correct. Also, law enforcement did not release the footage of the killer as they approach and exit the gas station from the outside. This footage could help us determine the exact time of the crime, as well as give us some information on the killer's gait, mannerisms, height, and the direction the killers went after leaving the scene. With all of this being said, I'm going to do my best to analyze the surveillance footage and photos that have been released. I'll start out with the vehicle of interest in this case. On Friday, March 19th, at around 1 a.m., surveillance cameras from the Fire Station Express car wash, located across the road from the RaceTrac gas station, picked up a vehicle traveling south on Interstate 441. Notice the timestamp in the top right corner showing 12:59 a.m. I have placed a star on this Google Map image to indicate the location of where the surveillance camera is located that captured this footage. This yellow line and arrow indicate the path the killer took as they passed by the Fire Station Express car wash. Law enforcement have stated that this is a vehicle of interest in Elijah's murder, but they do not know the make, model, or even the color of the vehicle. Unfortunately, the quality of this footage is extremely poor. However, I have been able to capture a few frames where the color and a very general shape of the vehicle can be seen. In these images, you can see that the vehicle is silver in color, and that this is a car and not a truck or SUV. In repeatedly looking at the surveillance footage, the vehicle appears to be long from the front to back, as well as moderately wide from side to side, ruling out a compact vehicle. My initial guess as to what type of vehicle this might be was a 70s to early 90s muscle car or coupe. Here are some examples. I'll zoom in here on the vehicle as it turned onto Hog Mountain Road and passed in front of a light source, which gives us a silhouette of the vehicle shape. The angle at which the vehicle turned makes it difficult to see the precise shape of the top of the car, but it clearly is not a truck or SUV. As the vehicle turns right onto Hog Mountain Road, a surveillance camera that is mounted to the top corner of the roof covering the gas pumps at the RaceTrac gas station captures the vehicle. Once again, the camera footage is extremely poor, and we are unable to see the vehicle clearly. However, the taillights of the vehicle are visible briefly. A few weeks ago, I posted the taillights in a community post on my channel, asking my subscribers to help me figure out what car this could possibly be. 2 subscribers, Honeybee and Octavarium, worked together to come up with the most probable answer. These taillights appear to be from a 2015 to 2021 Dodge Charger. Honeybee even snapped a photo of a Dodge Charger sitting at a stoplight, which when compared with the surveillance footage taillights is a near perfect match. I want to personally thank both of you. If any of you out there believe that this is a different car, please comment below or email me at arrinstoner@yahoo.com. Now let's take a look at the surveillance footage inside the RaceTrac store. First, I'll point out some of the killer's physical tells. Notice how nonchalant the killer appears as they enter the store. Notice the swagger. This is high confidence behavior. Considering that the killer has a gun and has a lookout outside in the car, the killer strongly believes he has the upper hand here and he can take his time. Notice as the killer gets close to the counter where Elijah is standing, the killer throws up his left hand in a confrontational gesture. You frequently see this palm up or quick palm up flicking gesture by the aggressor in a fight just prior to a physical confrontation. The swagger of the killer as they enter the store, combined with this confrontational gesture, leads me to believe that this isn't a robbery. but rather a targeted attack. A confrontation is the last thing a robber is normally looking for. In most armed robberies, the robber seeks to dominate and create fear immediately to gain control over the cashier and customers. Armed robbers do this by moving in quickly on the cashier and customers in an ambush style, and the gun is normally out and aimed at people to create fear. I believe it's possible that Elijah had a run-in with their killer or the killer's accomplice, or both in the past, and they're back to settle the score. Alternatively, this could be a gang initiation killing. Please understand that my perspective of this being a targeted attack comes from a place of limitations, as the police have not released all the footage, so my conclusion of this being a targeted attack rather than a robbery is based solely upon the behavior of the killer in the footage that has been released so far. You also have to ask yourself, if this was a robbery, what did they steal? Unlike the Terry Beavers case, this criminal had hundreds of things to choose from to steal and turn profit. The fact that the killer shot Elijah and left the store completely empty-handed is truly baffling. Perhaps when the killer came back into the store the second time, they did steal some things. Because law enforcement have not released this additional footage, we simply don't know. Now, after the killer goes off camera, we can see some type of movement in the monitor on the bottom right of the screen. I went frame by frame, looking at the reflection in the monitor, and I was able to capture what I believe to be the muzzle flash from the gun. This muzzle flash happens just seconds after the killer goes out of camera frame. So if this was a robbery, then things went south extremely fast. Perhaps once the killer got close enough to Elijah attempted to overpower him. In my opinion, the fact that the killer shot Elijah so quickly does give some support to the targeted attack theory. After the muzzle flash, the killer quickly heads towards the exit, but as they get to the door, there is a moment of hesitation by the killer. The killer stops and returns to the counter in a hopping motion. They pause for a second at the counter, then turn and exit the station. In my opinion, it appears that the killer is checking to make sure Elijah was dead. But what could possibly have caused the killer to hesitate at the door and then return to the counter to check on Elijah? As I went through the footage frame by frame, I discovered that after the killer shoots Elijah and proceeds to exit the store, the killer puts the gun away off camera and has pulled something else out which he is holding in his right hand. I've zoomed in here on the mystery object. At this point, I was not able to identify the item. As the killer headed towards the exit, he switched the mystery item to his left hand, and as he gets to the door, he stops and fumbles with the object. When I zoomed in here on the item, I was able to make out what appears to be a Walkie Talkie. I enhanced the footage and was able to make out what appears to be an antenna, and the killer is pressing in the side of the Walkie Talkie as if he was speaking to someone and/or they were speaking with him. It's at this moment that the killer then hops back to the counter with the item held in his right hand. Here are some magnified still shots of the item as the killer returns to the counter. After the killer leaves the counter for the second time, we get the best shot of the item the killer is holding. Again, I enhanced and enlarged the object, and it certainly does appear to be a walkie-talkie. Here are some walkie-talkies that are similar to the one the killer is using. The walkie-talkie the killer is using has a collapsible antenna. You can see in some of these still images the killer pressing on the top of the antenna, pushing it down. I'm not sure about the precise model of this walkie-talkie. If one of you super sleuths can figure this out, please post it in the comments section below or email me at arrinstoner@yahoo.com. Now let's take a closer look at the killer's physical appearance and what they are wearing. In these close-up shots, please keep in mind that they have been drastically altered by the sheriff's department. The killer's skin tone is not this light, and the killer is not wearing eyeliner or makeup. In these photos, we can see the general shape of their nose and a slight outline of their lips. Looking at the hoodie, we can see the outlines of braided hair. I believe that with this collection of images of the killer's face, a composite drawing could be put together to give us a general idea of what the killer may look like. I will reach out to the professional sketch artist who I work with on the Terry Beavers case and see what they think. Moving on to the killer's clothing. The gloves the killer was wearing are unique and easily identifiable due to the writing that appears on the palm of the gloves. These are gloves called battle gloves, which are gloves that football players wear to improve grip on the football. In further researching these gloves, they are sold at Dick's Sporting Goods, Walmart, and Amazon. If I were the police, I would check out some of the local sporting goods stores and Walmart to see if anyone carries these particular battle gloves. If so, they should check to see if it's possible to retrieve the date and time of sales for these particular gloves, and then go back and check the surveillance footage for these dates and times if possible. Maybe one of the cashiers might recall seeing someone they know from school or from that area that came into the store and bought these gloves around the time of Elijah's murder. On top of this, I would recommend that the police and/or family members acquire yearbooks for Athens High and other nearby schools for the last 5 years and go through the photos to see if they can come up with a list of persons who closely resemble the killer. Police and family should also create reward flyers that include the photos of the killer, images of the battle gloves, as well as information about the vehicle possibly being a silver 2015 to 2021 Dodge Charger. These posters should be put up at local Athens schools. Maybe the killer bragged to some friends about what he did over the summer, and once school is back in session, someone may see the reward poster and come forward with information. Another thing to point out is that the killer appears to be wearing a padded shirt or a muscle suit underneath the windbreaker to make themselves appear larger and more muscular. Here are a few examples of what they may possibly be wearing. In some of the images from the surveillance footage, you can see the edges and padded shapes of the bodysuit protruding. Overall, the gloves, the hoodie, the sweatpants, and shoes all appear to be brand new. It's probable that these items were bought or stolen in the hours, days, or a few weeks leading up to Elijah's murder. My impression is that this outfit was put together specifically for the purpose of carrying out a targeted attack on Elijah, or for this robbery gone wrong, according to the police. Because all of these clothing items appear to be new, I would recommend that the police check the sales ledgers at sporting goods stores and at Walmart in and around the Athens area to see if any of these additional items were purchased alongside the battle gloves. It is imperative that the detectives working this case act quickly, as many retailers only keep their sales ledgers for a limited time. Family, friends, and detectives should also ask to post flyers in the break rooms at these stores that include the photos of the killer, images of the battle gloves, as well as information about the vehicle possibly being a silver 2015 to 2021 Dodge Charger. Perhaps an employee will recall seeing someone that came into the store and bought these items around the time of Elijah's murder. Based off of the surveillance footage that has been released thus far, here is my profile of Elijah Wood's killer. Elijah Wood's killer is a male, between 5 foot to 5'6". He is tan to light brown in skin tone. He is right-handed. He is younger in age, probably a teenager to early 20s. He had braided hair around the time of Elijah's murder. He or his accomplice may own a silver 2015 to 2021 Dodge Charger. If you have any information about this case, please call the Oconee County Sheriff's Office at 706-769-3945 or contact me at arrinstoner@yahoo.com. You can remain completely anonymous. Thank you so much for checking out this detailed analysis of the Elijah Wood case. If you enjoyed this content, please drop me a like and subscribe to my channel for future videos covering the Stephen Kosher case, as well as other cases from time to time.